Jake Paul saying, oh yeah, one of us has to die, thinking it's some catchy sound bites just to promote the fight in general. Shame on him for saying that.
Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
Boxing pros have brutally threatened Jake Paul ahead of his fight with Mike Tyson. Former cruiserweight world champion Johnny Nelson recently voiced his belief that Jake Paul is resorting to picking opponents well past their prime. Nelson raises eyebrows at Paul's selection of opponents, who seem to have retired long ago, suggesting it's all part of the problem child's calculated game plan. Nelson said, I know Mike, and I think what Jake Paul has done is buy scalps. You saw Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva. Do you think Jake Paul would have been able to do that against the Anderson Silva we know? The young version that was at the top of his game? No, he couldn't have. Nelson's assertion that Jake Paul is engaging in buying scalps tactics by selecting opponents who seem to have retired long ago raises pertinent questions about the legitimacy of Paul's victories and his overall approach to the sport. By specifically citing Paul's victory over Anderson Silva, Nelson suggests that Paul's success may be attributed more to strategic matchmaking than genuine skill and prowess in the ring. He added, what he's done again, he's buying a scalp in Mike Tyson. We know Mike, we respect him. We know how tremendous this man was, and how much he dominated the heavyweight division. Jake Paul has bought a scalp. Moreover, Nelson's observation that Paul is now targeting Mike Tyson as his next opponent further underscores the controversial nature of Paul's choices. By choosing to face Tyson, a legendary figure in the sport whose glory days are behind him, Paul risks tarnishing his own reputation and credibility as a legitimate boxer. Nelson's characterization of Paul's pursuit of Tyson as buying a scalp implies that Paul is seeking to capitalize on Tyson's name and reputation for his own gain, rather than engaging in a genuine competitive contest. Nelson further added, Tyson, if he's going in for the money, well, go on, go for it. Anything other than the money, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Honestly, if you're going in for the money, then it means I don't care if I get turned over. I don't care what happens to me, I'm getting paid $50 million. I'm 57 years old. I'm getting paid $50 million to fight. Nelson's comments regarding Mike Tyson's decision to step back into the ring at the age of 57 also warrant consideration. While Tyson's return to boxing has garnered significant attention and excitement from fans, Nelson expresses concern about Tyson's motivations, particularly if they are primarily financial in nature. Nelson's warning to Tyson about the potential consequences of a poor performance in the ring highlights the risks associated with competing at an advanced age, both in terms of physical health and legacy. He added, and if that's what he's going to do, and that's what's comfortable doing, that's on him. But I am telling you now, if he gets turned over and turned over badly, it will haunt him for the rest of his life. The $50 million in the bank is not going to make any difference. Furthermore, Nelson's candid assessment of the potential outcome of the bout between Tyson and Paul reflects the uncertainty surrounding the matchup. While Nelson expresses hope that Tyson will emerge victorious, he acknowledges the possibility that Paul may succeed in his pursuit of a high-profile scalp. This acknowledgement underscores the unpredictability of boxing and the challenges faced by aging fighters like Tyson in their quest for redemption and financial gain. Nelson mentioned, Mike Tyson is older than his dad. Mike Tyson is my age, so he's just buying a scalp. And so I don't like to see, but it's going to happen. And I hope Tyson knocks him out, but I don't think that's going to happen. Speaking to Boyle Sports, Tony Bellew explained the reason he was against the fight and even threatened Jake Paul if he hurt Tyson. Bellew's candid remarks regarding the upcoming bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul provide a stark commentary on the state of modern boxing and the risks associated with high-profile matchups. Bellew, a former professional boxer himself, pulls no punches as he expresses his reservations about the fight and his concerns for Tyson's well-being. He said, Mike is probably getting between $20–50 million for this fight. I'm not going to lie. I'd do it. Everyone has got a price. But if Jake Paul hurts Mike Tyson, it would absolutely kill me. If he hurt Mike Tyson and then I run into Jake Paul, I'd chin him quite happily. I would even spend a couple weeks in the big house for that. Bellew's statement that he would be willing to confront Jake Paul if he were to hurt Mike Tyson underscores the gravity of the situation. Despite acknowledging the allure of the significant payday that Tyson stands to receive, Bellew's loyalty to Tyson and his respect for the sport of boxing compel him to speak out against what he sees as a potentially dangerous mismatch. Bellew added, it's a sad, sad day. It's not a professional contest, really, because only women fight 2-minute rounds, men do not fight 2 minutes. But Jake Paul is so pig-headed. He wants it to go on Mike Tyson's record. Hopefully, Mike chins him and puts him to sleep in 6 or 7 seconds. The former cruiserweight world champion's characterization of the bout as a sad, sad day reflects his disappointment with the direction in which boxing is heading. Bellew's assertion that the fight lacks the professionalism expected in the sport, particularly with regards to the duration of the rounds, highlights his belief that the matchup is more about spectacle and entertainment than genuine competition. He continued, the age Tyson is at, he could be Jake Paul's grandfather, so it's sad really. It should should have been left as an exhibition. But that's who Jake is. He's after clout and fame. I just hope Mike has that one punch left in him. He will never lose that punch. He's lost the snap and sharpness of it. But if he turns a right hand over and hits Jake Paul on the chin, the boy is going to sleep. Bellew's criticism of Jake Paul's motivations for pursuing the fight underscores the perceived opportunism of the YouTube star. Bellew suggests that Paul's desire for clout and fame outweighs any concern for the well-being of his opponent, echoing broader concerns within the boxing community about the integrity of the sport in the age of social media influencers. Despite his reservations, Bellew holds out hope that Tyson, despite his age, still possesses the power to deliver a decisive blow. Bellew's faith in Tyson's legendary punching ability serves as a reminder of the enduring legacy of the former heavyweight champion, even as he prepares to step back into the ring in his late 50s. Bellew added, "But at 58 years old, it's fucking frightening. This is show business. This really isn't boxing. I don't think Netflix cares about Mike's health. They generated $25 billion last year. Netflix doesn't give a shit about Mike Tyson. No one cares. And the saddest part is, Mike knows that. He's been there, done it, and got the t-shirt. Now, we know that Jake Paul has stated unequivocally that he did not choose to advocate for his fight against Mike Tyson to be fought as a professional match. Paul expressed his sentiments on his podcast, emphasizing his contentment that their anticipated confrontation would be duly recorded. However, he stressed his preference for Tyson to ultimately determine the outcome. Now that it has been confirmed as a pro bout, the problem child has said multiple times that it is now, with his opponent's blessing, a war. A fresh statement from the 27-year-old has ignited discussions once more, underscoring the gravity of this bout under professional regulations and emphasizing his unwavering commitment. Paul said that as soon as the fight turned into a pro fight, one of them had to die.
As soon as it turned into a pro fight, one of us has to die.
In a fresh upload on YouTube, Michael Bisping shared his candid response to the latest developments and sound bites emerging from the recent press conference surrounding the upcoming fight. The ex-middleweight title holder has harbored a long-standing aversion toward Paul, a sentiment that evidently persisted upon the revelation of his upcoming bout against a sporting legend 3 decades his senior. Specifically, Bisping objected to Paul's statement that one of them has to die when they square off at Arlington, Texas's AT&T Stadium. Bisping expressed his disapproval, stating that it was shameful of Jake to make such comments. He emphasized the seriousness of the matter, highlighting that many boxers lose their lives annually, emphasizing that boxing is not a casual endeavor, but a real and deadly sport.
And shame on him for saying that. Shame on him for saying that and taking these words so lightly, because the reality is a lot of boxers die every single year. It's not a game that you play. You don't pick it up and put it down. You're not a part-time boxer, okay? This is a real sport, a deadly sport, one of the most vicious, and it's a sport where a lot of people die every single year.
Bisping proceeded to address the somber events that unfolded just a day prior to the press conference. Tragically, a British boxer lost his life during his professional debut, succumbing after collapsing in the ring. The paramedics on the scene took 29-year-old Sheriff Lawal to a hospital, but he tragically passed unexpectedly.
In fact, just this Sunday in London, a boxer making his professional debut died. 29 years old, making his professional debut, Sharif Lawal, at the end of the 4th round. Sadly, that was it. It wasn't just the end of the fight. It was the end of his life.
Notably, Joe Rogan, a staunch admirer of Tyson's prowess, has recently voiced his thoughts on the matter. Rogan extended an invitation to Sebastian Maniscalco to join him on his renowned JRE podcast. As their conversation unfolded, they found themselves swiftly delving into the buzz surrounding the impending clash between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. True to form, Rogan, echoing the sentiments of many pundits, offered his insights into the highly anticipated showdown. Rare are the pugilists in the annals of boxing who exuded the magnetism of Mike Tyson. The exalted heavyweight titan became synonymous with devastating knockouts and sheer power during his zenith. Rogan and his esteemed guest dissected a memorable bout featuring Tyson. While watching the clip, Rogan remarked that he had never witnessed anyone who resembled Mike Tyson in his prime. He speculated that the level of focus demanded to achieve such prowess might be unsustainable. Rogan commented on Marvis Joe Frazier, acknowledging him as a skilled fighter, but noting that facing Tyson was a daunting task, suggesting that unexpected contenders could always surface.
I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. I think you can't maintain the kind of focus that was required to be this guy. Look, I mean, Marvis looks terrified, and he should be. Because he kind of knows. I mean, Marvis was a good fighter. Marvis was a good fighter. But this is just a terrifying mismatch. Like, if I was a Vegas odds maker, I would put this at 1,000,000 to 1. I'm like, he has to break his leg. Like, he has to fall down and twist an ankle. Like, otherwise, so Tyson was 20 and Frazier was 25.
Yet, delving into his forthcoming bout, the JRE host asserted the 27-year-old as the favored contender. Rogan emphasized the former social media influencer's credibility as a boxer capable of inflicting significant harm. Nevertheless, he cautioned that Tyson still retains his formidable strength, capable of springing a surprise upset. Rogan mentioned that Jake Paul is favored against Tyson, highlighting Paul's age of 27 and his commendable boxing skills. He emphasized Paul's legitimacy as a professional boxer, citing his bout against Tommy Fury, who is also a skilled boxer. Rogan noted that while Paul lost a closely contested decision against Fury, the fight itself was notable and competitive.
He's a favorite, yeah. Well, he's 27 years old, and he's a really good boxer. He's a very good boxer. Like, he's a legitimate professional boxer. He fought Tommy Fury, who's also a legitimate professional boxer, a real good one. He's Tyson Fury's younger brother, and he lost a close decision. But it was a good fight, a real good fight against a good fighter. He can fight.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is poised to turn back the clock as he immerses himself in rigorous training sessions ahead of his upcoming bout. In a recent interview, the Iron Man divulged his dietary regimen, leaving the JRE host speculating that Tyson could emerge victorious. At the age of 57, Mike Tyson's decision to step into the ring against Jake Paul raised eyebrows among many. With a substantial 30-year age difference between them, speculation swirled about whether this would play a pivotal role in the outcome of the bout. Yet, it appears that Iron Mike is undeterred and fully committed to his upcoming fight. Tyson isn't holding back in his preparations. In his recent interview on The Damon Elliott Show, the 57-year-old revealed his diet plan, which caught the attention of the JRE host. Rogan mentioned that Mike Tyson's mindset has shifted towards combat. Talking about the recent interview, Rogan described Tyson's response to a question about his youthful appearance, with Tyson attributing it to his consumption of raw meat, stating that it's what he plans to eat when he fights.
Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war. Like, he was doing this interview, and someone said to him, he goes, "You look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing?" He goes, "I just eat raw meat." He's like, "Eating raw meat." He goes, "You're eating raw meat?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "Because that's what I'm gonna eat when I fight. I'm gonna eat him. It's raw meat."
Yeah, see,
I was like, Jesus Christ. He's in this fucking mode. He's in that God of War mode.
Joe Rogan holds a firm conviction that with Tyson receiving adequate supplements and recuperation, the problem child might find himself at a disadvantage. Recent training footage of the 57-year-old reveals his formidable fighting form, suggesting he could potentially upset expectations. Despite many pundits dismissing Mike Tyson's chances due to his age, should he connect with one of his powerful blows, he could disrupt the social media influencer's winning streak. Amidst global chatter about the aging boxer's waning strength and diminishing prowess, Rogan has come to Tyson's defense. With fervor, he reiterates the sheer terror Tyson embodies as a fighter. Yet, as Tyson gears up to confront the youthful Jake Paul, apprehensions about the former heavyweight champion's well-being loom large. In a recent chat with renowned MMA journalist Ariel Helwani, the baddest man on the planet, shared that despite his overall well-being, he was feeling the effects of soreness in his body. Tyson unveiled some intriguing insights into his persona. Amidst the media buzz, Helwani, inquisitive as ever, probed the former champion about the persistent critique, suggesting Tyson's age rendered him unfit for a showdown with the problem child. "I'm doing great, but my body is shit right now. I'm sore. Yeah, I'm really sore," Tyson replied. Age has undoubtedly had an impact on the fighter's physique. However, Rogan asserted that he is still capable of beating Paul. Later, during an episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, comedian Sebastian Maniscalco discussed the fighter's potential decline in power attributed to his age. However, Rogan held a distinct perspective on the matter. Rogan asserted that Mike Tyson has not lost all of his skills, particularly evident when observing him hitting the pads.
He hasn't lost everything. He hasn't lost everything.
Yeah.
If you see him hit those pads,
absolutely,
he has not lost everything.
As the guest suggested that Iron Mike had transitioned into a standard fighter over time, Joe Rogan offered his assessment. The 56-year-old UFC commentator emphatically declared that Tyson remained utterly formidable, dispelling any notion to the contrary. Rogan remarked that despite Mike Tyson not being entirely conventional, he still possesses the attributes of a professional heavyweight boxer and remains a formidable and intimidating presence.
Still not normal, but he's still like a professional heavyweight boxer. boxer. He's still terrifying.
Rogan frequently sings Tyson's praises. In a recent installment of the JRE podcast, his profound respect and admiration for the legendary boxer compelled him to laud Paul for stepping into the ring with Iron Mike. Despite Tyson's ripe age of 57, nevertheless, the outcome remained the same. As per Rogan, Jake Paul would not survive against Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. Moreover, Rogan asserted that the impending clash between the two wouldn't merely be an exhibition, but rather a full-fledged professional showdown. Nevertheless, considering Tyson's seasoned years, certain concessions were made in the regulations. Each round was truncated to a brisk 2 minutes, and the gloves would tip the scales a tad lighter than the conventional 16 ounces. The bout was slated for 8 rounds, with a brief 2-minute intermission following each. Amidst the fervor, former NFL stalwart Chad Johnson voices apprehensions about the ex-heavyweight champion's preparedness and stamina in facing the youthful Paul. He highlighted the significant age difference and intense training needed to fight successfully. Johnson noted that Mike Tyson has been absent from the ring for 20 years. He indicated that Tyson's age might not be the primary concern, but rather the youthfulness and conditioning advantage that Jake possesses. Johnson emphasized the importance of conditioning, questioning Tyson's ability to maintain the necessary fitness level for a fight comprising 8 2-minute rounds. He said, "Mike hasn't been in the ring in 20 years. I think the only issue for Mike is not really his age, but the youthfulness that Jake has on him and the conditioning. That's the only thing I'm worried about. The conditioning? How much running can you do to be in shape to fight 2-minute 8 rounds? That's all I care about." Johnson went into further detail about the possible difficulties Tyson would encounter, stating that if he puts in too much effort early in the battle, the seasoned fighter might tire out quickly. Johnson elaborated further, cautioning against expending excessive energy too soon in the fight. He emphasized that early exhaustion could lead to dangerous consequences, highlighting the potential risks if a fighter tires prematurely and punches themselves out. He added, "If you come out and you exert too much energy early, you're going to get tired. And if you get tired early and you punch yourself out, then it can get dangerous. At that point, it can get dangerous." However, Chad Johnson also recognized Tyson's strength and experience. He goes on to say that if Paul is unprepared, Tyson is a serious threat. He predicted Jake Paul's cautious approach, noting, "Jake is going to be cautious, and he's going to be on his bicycle." Yet, he highlighted Tyson's knack for ring control and unyielding aggression, qualities that have consistently propelled the boxing icon to success. Contemplating Tyson's prior matchup against Roy Jones Jr., Johnson speculated that Tyson could approach this fight with heightened determination. Chad also acknowledged Paul's vulnerability to Tyson's influence, particularly in the event that the YouTuber turned boxer makes mistakes. Moreover, Chad raised a hypothetical scenario, pondering the repercussions if Jake were to land a significant blow on Mike Tyson, potentially angering him. He emphasized Tyson's formidable power, suggesting that even at the age of 58, Tyson's strength remains considerable and unmatched. Chad asserted that Jake likely hasn't experienced such force before, and emphasized that it's not something one can adequately prepare for, even at Tyson's age. He said, "What if Jake hits Mike the wrong way and pisses Mike off? What do you think is going to happen? Even at 57, 58 years old, with that kind of power, Jake ain't never felt that kind of power. You can't even train for that kind of power, even at 57. Moreover, Chad reiterated his admiration for Tyson's formidable strength, likening it to the force of a mule's kick. Emphasizing Tyson's stature as short and compact, Chad underscored the potency of his powerful legs, which pose a significant threat to his opponents. Johnson also provided insight into Tyson's preferred strategies within the boxing ring, further elucidating his tactical prowess and the methods he employed to gain the advantage over his adversaries. Former UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson recently dedicated an episode on his YouTube platform to delve into the anticipated clash. The 30-year age difference between the two is one of the main worries for the majority of followers. However, in his most recent video, Johnson brought up another crucial concern for Tyson. Mike Tyson stands as an indomitable figure in the realm of boxing, his legacy etched in the annals of sports history. Yet, the erstwhile heavyweight titan, now at 57, finds himself distanced from his prime glory days. Johnson dissects Tyson's recent exhibition bout versus Roy Jones Jr. in 2020. Despite Iron Mike exhibiting remarkable agility, given his age, it's imperative to acknowledge the substantial age gap between him and his 30-year younger opponent. After reviewing the footage, Johnson speculated on the potential outcome of a fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. He noted that the intriguing aspect would be observing the effects when Jake Paul lands punches on Tyson, emphasizing the uncertainty surrounding Tyson's response to Paul's hits. He said, "The thing that would be interesting when Mike Tyson fights Jake Paul is what happens when Jake Paul hits Mike Tyson. Right, like what happens when he hits him." Further delving into the analysis, Johnson pinpointed the primary concern, emphasizing whether Tyson's brain and chin could withstand the impact of Paul's punches. He underscored that ultimately, the fight's outcome would hinge on Tyson's Tyson's ability to endure these blows. Johnson acknowledged Tyson's superior skills, highlighting his movement, angles, and striking accuracy as factors favoring him in the matchup. Despite being a former social media influencer, Jake Paul does have good boxing credentials. In previous bouts, he's exhibited undeniable knockout prowess. Though relatively green in the ring, the problem child has swiftly carved out success with a record of 9 wins and 1 loss. Paul is hungry to command respect in the realm of professional boxing, viewing a victory over iron as a pivotal step toward that goal. However, Johnson said, will his brain be able to take it and will his chin be able to last? That is what it is going to come down at the end. Skill-wise, Mike Tyson is obviously better. The way he moves the angles, the shots that he is hitting is way better. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.